up, cool cats? Okay, so I moved and I'm trying to find the best place to record my video, so we're gonna try this. And I see that everything I've written on my board you cannot see. Great! So whatever, it's just really notes for me anyway, so that way I don't like go all over the place, but I'll put everything I wrote in here in the notes at the bottom. So basically today we're gonna go over what weight should I be using. I get that question all the time. What weight should I be using? How many weights for this exercise? What are you using for this exercise? And listen guys, first of all, the weight is specific to a person. So I can't tell you what I'm using and then you're gonna go ahead and use that. So the weights are specific to the people, okay? But besides that, your weight is going to be determined by your reps and your sets. So how many reps and how many sets are you doing? That's what's going to determine your weight that you use for that exercise, right? Because let's just say, for example, you're doing 2 sets of 15 reps for a squat 1 week, right? So you're going to choose a weight that challenges you there. And I'm going to explain what challenges you there means in just a second. And then the following week, you're going to do 2 sets of 8 for the same squat, the same exercise, but your reps have changed drastically. So obviously, the weight that you use for 15, you're not going to use it for 8. It's not going to work that way, because when you're choosing a weight, the way it works is that you want a weight that's going to fatigue the muscle. Fatigue the muscle, really, really work hard. So that way, you can stress the muscle enough to grow and adapt and build and blah, 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 like we've talked about before. So that's why a weight that you're using for 15 reps isn't going to stress the muscle for 8 if it's stressing it for 15, So that's why it's really dependent on the reps that you're doing. So you're going to have to play around a little bit in the beginning when you first get your program. You're going to have to play around with what weights should I use for this. So the first week, I always tell clients when I give them their program, play around with the weights this week if they're new moves. Now, if they're exercises that they've done before, they can kind of use what they've done before and play with it like that. But if it's a brand new exercise, you have no idea what you would use at that, you can kind of guesstimate. So start light, obviously, and then work your way up. Don't start with like the heaviest that you think you can go. But anyways, so that first week is just finding out what weights work for me. So how you're gonna know this is the right one is, like I said, start slow. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get through your rep range, right? So let's just go back to, you need 15 reps. Now you pick a weight, you get to 15 reps and you're like, gun to head, I could have done 8 more. That's not your weight. That is way too many reps in reserve to fatigue your muscle enough, okay? You need to have 1 to 3 reps in reserve, and that's it. And that's how you know that's your weight. So 1 to 3 reps in reserve has just been shown to work your muscle the best, kind of like be able to fatigue it enough with also not going to like 1 rep maxes and things like that. But just be able to work your muscle enough, stimulate it enough that next time, you're able to stress it enough and then recover and grow and blah, 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 and go through that cycle. So 1 to 3 reps in reserve has been shown to be like that sweet spot. I didn't make this up. Somebody way smarter than me did. I read it and I'm repeating it. So, that's what you're looking for. So what I'm talking about is, 1 to 3 reps shy of failure. Like you're going through your squats, you're going 1, 2, and then you have like 3 left and you're like barely pushing it up, but you're pushing it up. Your reps are a little bit slower. Your form is still intact. You're still, you're not rounding anything. Your core is engaged. All of that stuff is still happening, but the last 1 to 3 reps need to feel hard. If you go through your entire set and then you're done and you're just kind of like, waiting for, like you didn't go hard enough. You should be out of breath. Those are some things that are going to kind of trigger you to know that, okay, I was working pretty hard that set. So those are kind of like your clues, but ultimately, like I said, the first week of any program, you're going to be trying to find that out. Once you have those numbers, you really want to start with a good solid foundation though, because you're going to grow off of those numbers. So the 4 weeks after that, you're progressively overloading those numbers that you started with. So if you don't start yourself in the 1 to 3 reps shy of failure, then that entire month, you're not pushing yourself because you didn't start off by pushing yourself and you're using low numbers, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, so let me get back to this. So yes, So your weight is going to be dependent on the number of reps and sets that you're going to do. Same thing goes for sets, guys. So let's say you're doing 2 sets of 15 with the weight. The following week, you need to do 4 sets of 15. So right, the reps stayed the same, right? But your sets increase. So that's still more volume. So you're going to have to adjust according to that. But again, the last 1 to 3 need to be hard. You need to be like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can get these up. But ultimately you do with good form, posture, core engaged, and you make it happen. Okay, so now I want to kind of go into what the reps, like the rep schemes kind of mean and what they are just kind of meant to, what they work, I guess, like your systems that are being worked. So in 1 to 5 reps, you're in a power phase. Like you are using strength and speed to get that weight up, because the weight, ideally, if you're doing 1 rep, obviously it's going to be much, much, much heavier than if you were doing 12 reps, right? So 1 to 5, you're in like a power phase. 6 to 12, you're like in a strength hypertrophy phase, so like building muscle, strength, 12 reps. So it's still pretty heavy. And I say not 12 reps, 6 to 12 reps. So it could be 6, 8, 10, 12. Those are all in a strength phase. And ideally, you're like pushing yourself for each rep. Remember that. 1 to 3, all of these, okay? And then the last one is like the 12 to 20 plus range. So yeah, there you can be 25 reps, 30 reps if you want to go crazy. So that you're in an endurance phase. And that just means that you are pushing your muscles past like the power and the strength phase, and you're in an endurance phase. So endurance just means, you know, your muscles have, I don't want to say the word endurance, but they can last longer. So those are the different rep ranges, okay? Now, your program obviously is going to tell you, and once you work with someone, they're going to ask you, what do you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. And they're going to recommend all of this for you. But I still think that you should know why you're doing what you're doing and why your reps are where they are and whatever. So I think it's important to still know them and not just be like, oh, I'm following my program. So these are going to be the rep ranges. Now, you can do them differently. There's different styles of training. I'm not going to go into them all because I do one pretty much style of training that I do, and I like to train all of the rep ranges essentially in a workout, really, because there are different styles, like I said, and you can be in a power phase for 3 months, and then you can be in a strength phase for 3 months, and then, but the thing is, with your body can detrain itself a lot faster than it takes to train it. So I like to put power, strength, and endurance pretty much in every workout, so that way you're not detraining any area, and you're not and really, if you are a specific sport athlete, that's when you would need to be like, okay, what's my sport? My sport, I need to be powerful at and quick and whatever. I'm going to train mostly in this area. But if you're like a general health population, which is who I work with, and you're just trying to get, to a lean body mass, you want to put on some muscle, you want to look a little bit better, you want to feel good, then training all of them in one, I have found to be the most successful with myself and with other people. So basically, I start out with a power phase. So I'll start out, your first couple of exercises are going to be the big compound lifts. They're going to be, in those, I actually never, unless I'm telling someone to specifically go for a 1 rep max, I don't prescribe ones. But anyways, so that's going to be your heaviest lift, your power lift. So that way you have the most strength, the most energy, power, right? And then throughout the exercises, the next like maybe 3 or 4 exercises, so exercise 1 and 2 are power, exercise 3 and 4 will be like strength, 3, 4, 5 strength phases or whatever, and then the last 1 or 2 exercises will be more of an endurance phase. That way you get all 3 of them. But within those phases, this doesn't matter for when you're choosing your weight. The choosing your weight rule still applies no matter where you are, okay? No matter if you're doing 6 reps, 8 reps, 12 reps, 15 reps, or 30 reps. The same rule of the weight that I'm using needs to fatigue me to the point of almost failure when I'm 1 to 3 reps shy. That rule still applies for all of these, okay? So the same rule applies. You still need to be 1 to 3 reps shy of failure, no matter what rep range you are in, okay? That is the golden rule. That's it. We could really stop right here, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit more information so that way you understand what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it, you know? Okay, cool. So, like I said, I like to train in all of them in one workout, unless someone's like really specific of what they want to do, just so you don't detrain any areas. And then, yeah, they're really going to be specific on your goals. So the reps and sets that you do are going to have a lot to do with, you know, what your specific goals are, like I kind of already mentioned. And then too, they'll have a lot to do with also like what season of life you're in. You know what I mean? Like if you know, are like, I want to go through a power phase and I really want to put on, you know, a lot of muscle and I want to get stronger and faster and whatever, those workouts typically take longer. Why? Because whenever you're doing 1 to 5 reps, you are working as hard as you possibly can, lifting as hard as you possibly can. Those workouts are going to require longer rest periods. So those workouts just take a little bit longer. So it's just going to depend on what season of life that you're in, where you pick, you know, I want to go through a power phase, a strength phase. I just want to do some endurance right now. I want to coast. I want to maintain, you know? So all of that is just going to be dependent on the season of life that you're in, you know? And then two, just kind of like what your lifestyle is, you know, if you have no kids or if you have 1 kid. If you have 1 kid or if you have 3 kids. These are all different things. If you work from home, if you work in an office, if you're a server, so your job or a nurse and your job requires you to walk around all day long, or if you work at a call center and you're sitting on your desk and you know what I mean? All of these, like it's lifestyles. Your lifestyle is going to determine kind of what you have time for, what's going to be best for you. Excuse me, my throat. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, your lifestyle is going to determine a lot of this, but really I just want you to remember that your reps and sets are dependent on what is being prescribed for you. So look at your sheet. If it says you need to do 8 reps of it, or if you're creating your own program and you want to do 3 reps of 10 for something, then you need to choose a weight that at rep 7, rep 8, rep 9 is, oh, I can't count. So rep 8, rep 9, and rep 10 are super hard. And you're just like, man, but ultimately you get it done. Ultimately it feels good. And this takes time and practice to figure it out. It takes time to learn what feels heavy to you. You know, it takes time, so don't be stressed out. Something is always better than nothing, but just make sure that you have that in the back of your head. Like, did this weight really challenge me? Or gun to head, can I bust out 5 more? And I challenge you, try that the next time you work out. The next time you work out, go through your regular reps and sets and choose the weights that you normally choose. And then, you know, if something is asking for 10, see if you can do 15. And if you can do 15, then you know you haven't been pushing that set hard enough, those reps hard enough. And that's just kind of the golden rule. So I really hope that helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment and I'll put all of my gibberish in the notes section. Okay, bye.